Karim Adeyemi to Barcelona. Wow. With this signing, Barcelona have shown something very clear. This club does not always need superstars. It needs real players, players with profiles, players with weapons, players who fit the idea. And honestly, this might be one of the best signings of the summer. Hansi Flick gave the green light for Adeyemi's arrival because he knows exactly what this player can bring to Barcelona. A lethal run in behind, brutal speed, verticality, 1v1 danger, pressing intensity, and the kind of chaos that can completely change a match. Adeyemi is a player built to hurt defensive lines. His top speed allows him to attack the back of defenders with ridiculous ease, making him a constant option for long passes into space. And in transition, he is a nightmare. When he carries the ball at full speed, he breaks defensive structures in seconds. This is not a winger who needs 5 touches to generate danger. Adeyemi can destroy you with one run.
Karim Adeyemi le puede dar por así decirlo, un nivel superior a este Barça.
He also has the ability to beat defenders in 1v1 situations, especially because he can handle the ball at high speed. That makes him dangerous on the wing, because he can create numerical superiority, attack the outside, cut inside, or force defenders to retreat until the entire backline collapses. And that is what makes him so unpredictable. He can play on the right, he can play on the left, he can attack diagonally into the centre, he can look for the shot, he can combine with midfielders, he can play as a centre forward, he can even act as a false 9 because of his mobility. That offensive versatility is exactly why Barcelona wanted him. Adeyemi does not just wait for the ball at his feet. He reads free spaces aggressively. He understands when to attack a channel, when to drag a marker, and when to open a lane for a teammate. And in Flick's system, that matters a lot, because Flick does not want passive attackers. He wants players who run, press, stretch the pitch, and attack space with conviction. Adeyemi also brings that defensive intensity. He is tactically generous. He knows how to press after losing the ball. He understands the demands of Bundesliga football, and he can help the team in the defensive transition. That is why this signing makes so much sense. Because Adeyemi is not only fast, he is useful, he is functional, he is dangerous, and yes, this guy is a bullet. Adeyemi is the 6th fastest player recorded in Bundesliga history, after reaching a top speed of 22.77 miles per hour in February 2022. That kind of speed changes games. That kind of speed scares defenders before the ball even arrives. And honestly, his profile is similar to Yan Diomande. Adeyemi is 5 years older than the young new Paris Saint-Germain talent, but both share that same ability to leave defenders behind with terrifying acceleration. Both can make goalkeepers panic because they are always looking to attack the goal. Both have that taste for spectacular shots and explosive actions. And that is exactly the kind of player Barcelona are collecting now, because what Barcelona are building is the most serious attacking project the club has seen in years. Lamine Yamal, Anthony Gordon, Rafinha, Ferran Torres, Karim Adeyemi, and soon Julian Alvarez. This is not just Laporta building a team to win La Liga. This is not just about dominating Real Madrid. Barcelona are building a team designed to dominate the UEFA Champions League, and Karim Adeyemi could be fundamental to that plan. Don't believe me? Take a look at this. To understand the gem FC Barcelona have just signed, we have to go back to the beginning. Karim Adeyemi was born in Munich, and after spending 2 years at his first club, TSV Forstenried, Bayern Munich signed him in 2010 when he was only 8 years old. But things did not go well for the young Adeyemi at Bayern, so he moved to SP GG Unterhaching, and that is where his talent started to explode. In the youth categories, he scored 20 goals in 28 matches, enough for Red Bull Salzburg to notice him in the summer of 2018. And from there, everything changed. After receiving Germany's prestigious Fritz Walter Medal in 2019 as the best under-17 player in the country, Adeyemi began to stand out in Salzburg's first team. With the Austrian club, he produced 27 goals and 17 assists in 68 league matches. But the most important thing was that he also started to show his talent on the biggest European stages. In the UEFA Champions League, he scored 4 goals, and one of his magical nights came when he destroyed the defence of the French side with his vertical speed and scored both goals of the win from the penalty spot. That night did not only give Salzburg the victory, it also made Adeyemi the youngest German player ever to score a brace in Champions League history. And then came the night where he drove Sevilla's defence mad. It was a historic exhibition of dribbling, acceleration, and street-smart attacking in the group stage. In only 25 minutes during the first half, Adeyemi won 3 penalties for Salzburg. With that, he equalled a historic Champions League record for the most penalties won by a player in a single half. But one of the moments that best defined his qualities in counter-attacking transition came against Atletico Madrid. Adeyemi received the ball with space to attack, turned on the engine, and left Atletico's defenders behind with unstoppable physical power. Then, in front of Jan Oblak, he finished with total composure, crossing the ball into the net and proving he was ready to compete against the world elite. But Adeyemi did not only shine in Europe, he also made noise domestically. In the 2020-21 season, he often started on the bench behind figures like Patson Daka. But against SKN St. Pölten, he delivered his biggest statistical explosion in the Austrian league. Salzburg won 8-2, and Adeyemi was directly involved in more than half of the goals, finishing the match with 1 goal and 4 assists in 90 minutes. Then came the 2021-22 season. After the departures of Daka and Berisha, Adeyemi took over as Salzburg's starting centre-forward, and on the opening matchday against one of the toughest teams in the league, Sturm Graz, he led the comeback with a spectacular brace, scoring in the 69th and 85th minutes. That performance set the tone for a season in which he would finish as the league's top scorer with 19 goals. And performances like that made one thing inevitable. Karim Adeyemi was ready for a bigger club, and that is when Borussia Dortmund came calling. After signing for Borussia Dortmund ahead of the 2022-23 season, Karim Adeyemi arrived in the Bundesliga with impact. In his debut campaign, he scored 9 goals and gave 6 assists. That level earned him a call-up to Germany's squad for the FIFA World Cup in Qatar, and he was also named Bundesliga Rookie of the Season. But more than the numbers, that season showed the world what Adeyemi could become. His first year at Dortmund had 2 very different faces. The first half was about adaptation and injuries. The second half was spectacular, because Adeyemi became the most unpredictable player in Edin Terzić's team, helping Dortmund get incredibly close to winning the Bundesliga title. And the match that defined his season came against Chelsea. That night, Adeyemi produced one of the most iconic images of that Champions League campaign. After a Chelsea corner, he picked up a clearance near the edge of his own box and exploded into a lethal counter-attack, more than 60 metres at full speed. Enzo Fernandez left behind through pure power, keeper beaten with the dribble, and then the finish into an empty net. It was a Maradona-style goal, and it gave Borussia Dortmund the victory in the first leg of the round of 16. Domestically, his most dominant performance came against Wolfsburg. Adeyemi was a constant nightmare on the left wing and scored twice. He was playing a perfect match, and he even won a penalty, but he sent the shot over the crossbar, which stopped him from completing the afternoon with a hat-trick. Another brilliant performance came against Hertha Berlin. It was an absolute level exhibition, but it ended with a bitter taste. Adeyemi scored the opening goal with a spectacular airborne backheel, then assisted Donyell Malen for the second after a brutal run down the wing, where he again showed himself as one of the fastest players in the tournament. Unfortunately, during that same assist, he suffered a muscle tear that kept him out for a month, right when he was in his best moment. And sadly, that season ended in heartbreak. On the final matchday, Dortmund depended on themselves. They only needed a win at home against Mainz 05 to become Bundesliga champions, but they drew 2-2. At the same time, Bayern Munich beat Cologne 2-1 in the final minutes and stole the title on goal difference. It was brutal, it was painful, but Adeyemi had already proved something important. When he was fit, confident, and allowed to attack space, he could completely change Dortmund's attack. And in the following campaign, he would become fundamental again. Karim Adeyemi's 2023-24 season with Borussia Dortmund was defined by huge performance peaks on the biggest nights, especially in the UEFA Champions League. That was the season where Dortmund reached the final at Wembley, and Adeyemi was one of the players who helped make that run possible. He scored 5 more goals for the club, taking his Dortmund total to 14 goals in 66 matches at that point. And 2 of those goals were absolutely crucial in the Champions League, helping BVB reach their 3rd European Cup final, where they would eventually fall to Real Madrid. The first one came against AC Milan, a magical night at San Siro, inside the so-called Group of Death. Adeyemi came off the bench and completely changed the attack. In the 69th minute, he received the ball on the edge of the box and hit a powerful shot past Mike Maignan to seal the 3-1 win. That goal mathematically secured Dortmund's qualification to the round of 16. The second came on the final match day of the group stage. Dortmund were fighting for first place against the million-dollar project of Paris Saint-Germain. Adeyemi started the match, and once again he responded in the hottest moment. At the start of the second half, he took advantage of Niklas Füllkrug's assist and scored the opening goal. The match finished in a draw, but that result was enough for Dortmund to advance as group winners and avoid the biggest monsters in the knockout draw. And domestically, he also produced a historic goal. His most iconic Bundesliga match of that season came against Bayern Munich at the Allianz Arena. Adeyemi silenced the stadium in the 10th minute after a lightning counter-attack, finishing with power past Sven Ulreich. That victory was historic. It was Dortmund's first away win in Der Klassiker in 10 years, and their first win over Bayern in any competition since 2019. But Adeyemi did not stop there. In the 2024-25 Champions League group stage, he produced one of the best individual nights of his Dortmund career, scoring 3 fantastic goals in the 7-1 demolition of Celtic. And by the end of the 2025-26 season, Adeyemi had reached 36 goals in 146 matches across all competitions for Borussia Dortmund. That final stage in Germany showed more maturity in his game. He was no longer only the explosive winger who could kill you in transition. He was becoming a more complete attacker, capable of choosing moments better, attacking space with more control, and appearing in decisive zones with greater calm. He scored a golazo against Augsburg.
On for Bayer, and there's Adeyemi.
He produced a great goal against St. Pauli.
Silva on to Adeyemi.
He also delivered important moments against Stuttgart and Atalanta.
With a header, only as far as Karim.
And by then, the picture was clear. Adeyemi had already lived pressure. He had already played Champions League knockout nights. He had already hurt Bayern at the Allianz. He'd already carried Dortmund in moments where speed, courage and personality mattered. And that is exactly why Barcelona saw him and understood something. This was not just another fast winger. This was a player with European scars, elite acceleration, and the kind of directness that can make Flick's Barcelona terrifying. After looking at his career and the way he plays, the real question is simple. How can Karim Adeyemi benefit Barcelona? Adeyemi is 24 years old, and as we have already seen, he is a player with serious talent. He can play across every position in attack, although the role where he has stood out the most is as an inverted winger. His biggest weapon is his speed and his ability to beat defenders, because he is extremely dangerous in 1v1 situations and capable of repeating high-intensity efforts again and again. And that makes him ideal for Hansi Flick's pressing and attacking style, because Flick's Barcelona is moving away from the long, horizontal possessions of the past. This team is being built around high-rhythm, ferocious transitions and a suffocating block. And Adeyemi is by definition a transition footballer. He is a constant threat in behind, with Alejandro Balde or João Cancelo overlapping and giving width, or with Julian Alvarez or Ferran Torres fixing centre-backs and dropping to receive. Barcelona need wingers who attack the back of the defensive line aggressively. Adeyemi's top speed is a differential factor because it will force opponents to drop deeper, and that opens space between the lines for creators like Pedri, Dani Olmo or Gavi. That is why this signing makes so much tactical sense. Adeyemi does not only stretch the pitch, he stretches fear. Because when a defender knows that one ball into space can kill him, he cannot defend the same way. And there is another key point. Adeyemi can also work as the first defender. In Flick's high-pressing structure, the wide attackers are vital to guide the opponent's build-up and suffocate centre-backs. Adeyemi has the ability to make repeated sprints at maximum intensity, which makes him extremely useful in counter-pressing immediately after losing the ball. And listen, this is not normal. His speed has been analysed constantly in Germany over the last few seasons. When Borussia Dortmund faced Barcelona in the Champions League, Kicker identified Adeyemi's pace as Dortmund's main argument to punish Flick's high defensive line. Back then, the German winger had reached a top speed of 36.18 km per hour, placing him among the fastest players in the Bundesliga. His acceleration even went around the world. Adeyemi was timed at 3.60 seconds over the first 30 metres, faster than the 3.78 seconds Usain Bolt needed at the start of his 100-metre world record race. Of course, Bolt reached a much higher top speed later, but the comparison shows how explosive Adeyemi's first steps really are. And that same characteristic is one of the reasons Flick took him to the German national team, where he also managed to score. But Adeyemi is not only speed, his versatility gives Barcelona multiple attacking variations and adds a dynamic profile that fits perfectly with the current pieces in the squad. Although his natural habitat is the left wing, his ability to play as an inverted winger, attack central zones, or even act as an interior reference gives Hansi Flick a real tactical wildcard, a player capable of destabilising defensive structures from any area of the final third. On the left wing, Adeyemi could become the perfect partner for Lamine Yamal's switches of play and cross deliveries from the right side, because while Lamine's side is about pause, genius, associative play and static 1v1 brilliance, Adeyemi's side would bring pure aggression, breaking runs and destructive depth. That balance could make Barcelona's attack terrifying. One side controls you, the other side kills you, and that would force rival defences to shift with fear towards both wings. Adeyemi's versatility would also allow Flick to alternate roles during matches. He can move inside as a second striker to attack the spaces created by Julian Alvarez or Ferran Torres when he pins the centre-backs. Or he can move to the right wing to give Lamine rest, attacking the byline with pure acceleration. That tactical symmetry means Barcelona can maintain an intense, vertical rhythm without losing 1v1 danger on the outside, and that is massive across a long season, because Adeyemi gives Barcelona something every elite squad needs: depth, speed, and a different way to hurt opponents. He also gives Flick another option to manage Anthony Gordon's minutes, rotate the attacking line, and keep the same level of intensity without depending on only one profile. Karim Adeyemi would give Hansi Flick a hyper-vertical dagger designed almost perfectly for his fast transition football. He brings the physical imbalance that modern European football demands. He gives Barcelona one more gear of speed. He gives them depth, he gives them pressure, he gives them chaos. And above all, he gives them a weapon that can change matches in seconds. Barcelona are building a very serious team, and Karim Adeyemi can become one of those pieces that gives the Blaugrana fans a lot of joy.